All right, we are here and we are live. Let me be the first to welcome you to the show or the broadcast that I have yet to come up with a name for. But I am super excited to be here to be doing this. This is a dream come true for me. My name is Darius Barnes, and I'll do somewhat of an intro just to tell you all a little bit about me here in just a second. But I really must say that this is something that I've thought about for a while. This is something that I've wanted to do for a while. When you started to see these type of podcasts, these type of broadcasts go fluid around the world, this is something that I definitely wanted to be a part of. So I'm super excited to throw my thoughts, my views out there for those of you that may be interested to listen to. No, I am not a famous individual. I am not a sports personality, and I don't have a brand or anything like that. I am just a normal guy that loves sports, that love family, that loves life. And if I have the opportunity, those are the things that I'm going to talk about here. We won't be pigeonholed to one thing. Yes, no, I am an avid sports lover, but at the same time, I feel as I'm versatile enough to talk about all the things that are going on. So, with that being said, let me go ahead and just tell you all a little bit about me, and then we'll jump into one or two subjects that I would love to discuss in for the next few minutes. So my name is Darius Barnes, and I actually live in the Birmingham, or right outside of Birmingham, a little city called Trussville, Alabama. And I've been here for about 10 years. I'm not from Alabama. I was born and raised in Homestead, Florida, which is right outside Miami. Those of you that are from that area know exactly where I'm coming from. Graduated from South Dade senior high back in 1997, and joined the military. I joined the military for 17 years before ending up here in the Alabama area. And, no, just making this my home. So I am a little bit older, but I've never forgotten where I come from. So although I have no desire to move back home, to live back in the Miami area, I still love it. It's still near and dear to my heart. I go as often as I can, but I am still, a very faithful Dolphin fan, and I am a Heat fan. And if we talk baseball, I'm going to be centered around the Marlins and of course the Panthers. No, the Hurricanes are always something that is a team that I grew up with. But no, just to throw a curveball in there, I am also a very huge Michigan Wolverine fan. And if we do this long enough, maybe I'll tell the story on how that happened. Um, I have a beautiful wife who I love and adore. And I have three kids, twin boys who just turned 19, and a daughter who is just as lovely as her mother. I do, like I say, have a passion for family. That is one of the things that I make sure that I focus on daily, my family. But I do also have a passion for sports, and I have a passion for things that are going on in the world. My prayers are always going out for all the different circumstances and situations and things that are going on. If you are one that believes in the power of prayer, let's make sure that we are still and we are always praying for those that are dealing with certain circumstances and situation that may not be ideal. So, no, I guess you're asking, no, what exactly do I have to say? What do I have to talk about? Growing up as a youngster, I found myself to be very talented with sports. We played sports growing up. I will be honest. I never got past little league, high school, part of sports. Yes, I played them growing up, played them around the city and things like that, but I was never a superstar or anything like that. When I joined the military, I did play a little bit of ball for my base teams on the Air Force and things like that, but never anything professionally, or anything of that nature. But I've always had a fascination with it. I've always been um, very glued to whatever was going on in the sports world, and I have opinions just like everybody else. So that is one of the things that I love talking about. Um, I have three wonderful brothers that we go back and forth on sports, and we've always said that, hey, why don't we put this on video or on audio or something, because some of the conversation that we have are very interesting. And I said, okay, let's go ahead and do that. And this is the start of that. Like I said, it's four of us. Eventually, you'll start to see them filter through here, because they have opinions and takes as well. Um, I have, like I say, twin boys. You'll probably see them have a little bit of conversation because they are the youth and they're athletes, and they're going through their process of living that recruiting life. So would love to get their take on some things. And you may even see my wife here at times giving her opinion on some of the things that we may talk about with life and parenting and things of that nature. Because like I said, we're not going to be solely focused on one thing. But with that being said, let's go ahead and let's start with this weekend. And we're going to start right with the NFL. I am a huge football guy. So the National Football League, the NFL, is something that I absolutely dedicate my time to. Now, like I said, I am Miami based. So I grew up, listening to your Levitars and your Joe Rose and Jim Mandage, and even listening to Mark Hawkman, back when he was with Dan Lebitard, and just grew up with that Miami, flair, sports analogy. And as those shows grew, I developed my own personality with sports, and I started to listen to and learn from some of those individuals that were being filtered through. I think Bomani Jones is one of the smartest guys in sports. I would love to have a conversation with him and Dominique Foxworth, who is also one that I feel is very or extremely smart. I respect what those guys do, and listening to the Mina Kimes and all of those individuals that came through that Lebatard window had some type of influence on me. And although I may not have agreed with 100% of everything they said, I have a ton of respect for those individuals and what Lebatard and Stugatz have done. So let's talk about the NFL. I don't know how this quite works, and we're going to learn this as time goes on. We're going to learn it, and we'll figure out exactly the best way to do it. But we had some really good and important games happen yesterday. So let's start with, hate to say it, my Miami Dolphins. And I'm going to try my best, not to be biased. No, I normally do a pretty good job at being neutral and not saying, okay, because this is my team, let me just say good stuff about them. I normally do a pretty good job with that. I'm sure if I don't, I'll be called out by it. But the Miami Dolphins, they played against the Kansas City Chiefs in the Germany game. And I got to say, it was hard to watch in the first half. It was very difficult to watch. You saw the Chiefs get the ball, drive it right down the field for a touchdown. And you saw Miami's offense once again sputter. Now, it seems that when they're playing against these defenses that are up in their face, these physical defenses, they seem to sputter. And you saw that once again yesterday. And they got down 21-0 in the first half, even with the defense playing fairly decent. There's not many bad things that you can say about that defense. Yes, they drove down for that first drive, but if you look at those next couple of drives, the defense did what they were supposed to do, gave the ball back to the offense. And the offense just could not get anything going until that long drive that they had to start the second half. But there was also a fumble in that first half that the Chiefs were able to pick up and run back for a touchdown. And that really made it tough for defense to come back in that second half, even though they had their opportunities. But let's talk about that. When you listen to the things that are being said, you hear them talk about the Dolphins not being able to win those tough games. And I agree with that. No, I agree with that. I think that if you want to show that you are a championship team, you have to be able to win those tough games. You have to be able to go in there and snatch victory, from the jaws, not to use cliche, of those tough opponents. And they have not shown the ability to do that. I think Mike McDaniel is a great coach. I think what they're doing on offense is fascinating. And I think the defense is coming around. But I will also say this. I don't think those losses are all bad right now. When you look at the three games that they've lost, they lost to the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo when that team was fully healthy. Mike Milano was playing that game. You had Tre'Davious White still playing, and Buffalo at that time was playing really good football. Not making excuses, but they were playing really good football. And they went to Buffalo and they got the praise beat off of them. No, that happens. You know, it shouldn't happen to good teams, but we've seen that happen before. They beat them up front. Um, they neutralized their speed, and you saw that there was some confusion, with how they wanted to do things. So it was all in all a bad loss, but I think you can learn from that. And then you see their second loss was to the Philadelphia Eagles, but it was a different type of loss. You didn't see them get beat up as much in that game. Offense still sputtered, you know, but it wasn't the dominating loss as the Buffalo Bill game was. It just wasn't as dominating. Philly did beat them up front, but you saw the game kind of stabilize. And if a couple of things go differently, if the face mask is called, or if Tyreek does not drop that pass, or if that long pass to Raheem Mostert that Darius Slay intercepts, if it's maybe called a little bit differently, because there was some physicality there. I'm not saying the Dolphins win that game, but there may be a different outcome. So I look at that loss a little bit different than I look at the Buffalo loss. I think Buffalo just dominated them. And I think the Eagles played tough, but they squeaked it out. No, and then you look at this Chiefs game, and I think this Chiefs game was very telling with how the Dolphins played on defense, because you're starting to see their defense come around. Jalen Ramsey is getting handier. We saw Xavier Howard back. Javon Holland is back. We're still waiting for Rashad Jones to get back in the backfield. No, or Brandon Jones. I think his name is Brandon Jones. Back there in the back secondary. No, they're still a little hurt up front, with their offensive line, because the Dolphins have dealt with a lot of injuries this year, and I think that you saw that defense really play tough. I think their defense played just as well as the Chiefs defense. Believe it or not, the Chiefs defense just had that additional touchdown. But if you take that touchdown away, that's a 14-14 game, and even if the Dolphins score that last touchdown, which I think Tua, it looks like the ball either slipped or he said there was a miscommunication, whatever the case may be. If they score that last touchdown, I don't think they need to go for two, because of the way that defense was playing. I think that defense had pretty much shut them down in the second half. And unless Patrick Mahomes was going to pull out something magical, which he's more than capable of doing, I think we would have been okay kicking the field goal and maybe playing for overtime, because they had shown that they can stop and keep them out of the end zone the entire half. No, so I think that loss is different from the Philly and the Buffalo loss because this is a loss that you can look at and you can see ways as the way you can see ways that the Dolphins could have won that game. Like I say, this is me not being biased. This is just me looking at all three losses and just giving my opinion on it. I do think that there was a way for them to win that game yesterday if one or two plays just go a little different, even as bad as they played, because I don't think they played particularly well on the offensive side of the ball. Now with me saying that these losses are bad, let me tell you why. This is the time that you want to lose those games. And I think, no, and I tell my kids this all the time, you learn more in your mistakes. No, and I think right now, when they lose these tough games and they see how teams want to defend them and they see the physicality that these teams are going to bring, right now is when they need to see that. You don't want to see it for the first time in the playoffs. No, because then it's too late. You lose those games, you're out. But if you can see them now, it gives you the chance to make adjustments. And I've seen them make some of those adjustments on the defensive side. We're still waiting for the offense to come around. But I think when you see them play Buffalo again, you're gonna see a difference. You're gonna see a difference in their offense because they've seen how Buffalo wanted to play them. They see the type of physicality they're gonna bring, and I think that Mike McDaniel is smart enough to make those adjustments. So I think right now is the time that you may want to lose those tough games. That way you can make those adjustments. I remember the Miami Heat when the big three got together. And I remember that first year, every important game they seemed to lose, whether it was against Derrick Rose and the Bulls or Paul Pierce and the Celtics, and they would lose those games, and they would be close games, and they would be just heartbreaking. And these were regular season games. And I mean, there were even talks of crying in the locker room over these regular season games. But that was the time to lose them because when they got to the playoffs, those series I think were 4-1, 4-1. Because they had got an idea as to what those teams were bringing to the table, and I think the Dolphins can do the same thing if they study it the way they need to. If they pull from it, what needs to be pulled from it. I think these losses can be a good thing. Now, the media. No, those that are talking about it, they're going to keep saying that, hey, they can't win the tough one. And they're going to be right because they haven't won the tough one. But these are the time, or this is the time to lose those games, in my opinion, because you don't want to lose them in the playoffs. You would rather lose them now, learn from them, and then have the ability to make adjustments when you see them again in the future. All right, so that's my take on the Dolphins. Now let's go over to the Chiefs. The Chiefs, they have Patrick Mahomes. So they're automatically going to carry a sense of greatness. But they need to do something with that offense. I think that offense really needs another playmaker. And that playmaker may be on their team. You've heard people talk about Isaiah Pacheco. Maybe he just needs to get the ball more. But that offense is really struggling, and they're not helping their defense out any. Now, Patrick Mahomes, as Bomani would say, is Michael Jordan. He is a great quarterback, probably the best we've ever seen. You know, and he can only take them so far. That offense is going to have to give him and Kelsey some help. I think if they want to beat those teams like Baltimore, who's playing well, we're going to talk about them in just a second. And the way Cincinnati's playing right now, is also something that they're going to have to make sure that they are aware of because those teams are playing good ball right now. So the Chiefs probably have the best defense that they've had since they've had Patrick Mahomes. But that offense really needs to add another weapon, or someone needs to emerge as a weapon for them that's going to allow Travis Kelsey to get more vertical down the field and allow Patrick Holmes to do what he's best at. Receivers are going to have to catch the ball. They're always going to be scary, because they have the quarterback they have and they have the coach that they have. I don't think it gets said enough how important Andy Reid has been to Patrick Mahomes and his career. Because him coming to that into that system, to me, has helped make Patrick Mahomes who he is. Just having that same continuity throughout his entire career, and getting there with talent. No, you got to remember when Patrick Mahomes got there, that was an 11-5 team. No, that was already winning the division with Alex Smith. And that Tyreek Hill was already on that team, and Kelsey was on that team. Kareem Hunt was on that team. Though this team was really good, and I think that allowed Patrick Mahomes to learn how to be a quarterback. And when those players start to go away, and get contracts and have their circumstances and situation, he had already, became who he is. So I think that is, something that the Chiefs really need to look at, seeing who's going to emerge, as that playmaker, for them to get to that next level. So um, Chiefs are always going to be scary. They're one of the best teams in the AFC. And I think they will. I think they will get better. I think they will get better at offense. I think they will figure it out, with that coaching staff, with that quarterback. I think eventually when they let when the game 15, 16, 17, you're going to see their offense match their defense. And they will be a force to be reckoned with. So that's my take on the Dolphins and the Chiefs game. Then we go to our afternoon game, which was Baltimore and Seattle. And man, Baltimore looks scary. Baltimore looks scary. It's funny because my oldest brother is a huge Ravens fan, and we have this argument about Lamar Jackson all the time, where he gets upset with Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson doesn't win the big game and he's not as accurate as he wants him to be, and he turns the ball over, at certain times. And I've always led on the side, well, he's only has one one weapon, and no Mark Andrews. No, you get him more weapons, maybe he'll be better, and they've got no more weapons. And man, when they're on their game, they are phenomenal to watch. They beat the brakes off Detroit, and then they came back and beat the brakes off Seattle. And those are two division leading teams. That is not something to be taken lightly. Baltimore looks scary right now. Lamar Jackson with weapons looks really good. I mean, this could very well be a second MVP year for him, easily. And the way that defense is playing. You look at the defensive coordinator, the McDonald guy, who was there, went to Michigan for a year and came back. Um, you look at what he's doing with that defense, and it is fun to watch. I heard Mina Kimes say that one of the coaches that she enjoys watching the schemes most this year has been Mike McDonald. Now, I have a regular job, so I don't get to watch it like that. But for Mina Kimes to be able to recognize that, to point that out, that just speaks to the type of scheme that he is running. And yeah, what the Ravens are doing right now is scary. That's going to be a fun division to watch. I mean, because you look at what they're doing and you look at what Cincinnati is doing, it's going to be fun to see how that plays out, because both those teams are playing well. Seattle, I think, is an okay team. I don't think they're as good as their record says, and that's not to down Seattle. I think they have great talent. I think Geno Smith is doing a marvelous job. Being the quarterback of that team, no one thought he would, but I think that they have phenomenal weapons with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Of course, he's going to be who he is. Smith and Jigba, as a rookie, has coming in and pretty much giving them a third option that they can use. You see Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker, another guy I think is going to be really good, have a really good career. I mean, they're a solid team. They're a solid team. You look at even their secondary. When Jamal Adams is back there, they are a really good team. You know, and I think that as they gel together, you're really going to see them maybe even challenge Seattle. I mean, challenge San Francisco for that division. I think in the next 2 years, you may see Seattle. They continue to add. If they continue to get better, they may be the team to challenge San Francisco for that division. So although they got beat pretty bad this weekend, no, Seattle's not a slouch, and I think that just shows you how dominant and how well the Ravens are playing right now. So no, I gotta hit my brother up and tell him, hey, give Lamar his credit. Give Baltimore his due because they're doing a really good job right now. Then we had probably the game that everybody's going to talk about or wants to talk about with the Cowboys and the Eagles, and that was an up and down game. There were times where I felt like it was going to be a blowout for the Eagles. Then there were times where I felt like, wow, the Cowboys are going to win this. And then it will flip back over and say, all right, yeah, the Eagles got this. And then, of course, toward the end, you was like, wow, I can't believe it. The Cowboys are going to win this game. And then, of course, the Eagles, they'll end up taking the win on a great finish. Probably one of the best finishes that we're going to see this year in the NFL. So let's talk about that. Cowboys, of course, this is what we deem to be America's team. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I agree with Stephen A. to a degree, about Cowboys fans being very annoying. No, I do agree with that, but I don't have the hate for the fans like he does because I think they're a lot of fun because they're kind of delusional. No, so I don't really have a problem with that. It keeps you entertained with the things that are going on in the world today. It's always good to have a little bit of entertainment. But Cowboys, no, we'll start with them. No, they lost that game, but I think they showed you a lot. I think they showed you that they could play with the top teams. You know, that's different from what we've seen in the past. We saw them at the beginning of the year play against the 49ers and wasn't close. I mean, no, Debo no went on. No, Debo Samuel went on radio and said, "Hey, y'all probably don't want to see us again because it might be worse next time." So, I mean, they really got slapped, by the 49ers at the beginning of the year. Kind of like the Dolphins. The Cowboys and the Dolphins, though, they may kind of be in that same no tier, where these losses now may be a good thing for them, because they have the opportunity to go back and make those corrections. But the Cowboys, I thought played well. I thought they played well. You saw them come out. You saw them be able to move the ball. You saw them be able to put points up. You saw Dak be able to play. I heard someone say, and because I do watch my sports channels throughout the day. I don't want to take anybody's stuff, but I heard someone say that there were times where Dak Prescott looked like the best player on the field. I agree with that. There were times in that game where he looked like the best player on the field, and that's a field with AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts and CeeDee Lamb and Dak was doing this thing. Dak was making plays. So he's shown, yesterday the ability to play in these big games. Now he didn't finish it out, and those inches. We talk about those inches. No, he wasn't able to finish it out, well, because those plays just didn't quite go his way. But I don't think that he disappointed anybody. No, Cowboys played a really good game. They just needed some things to go their way that didn't step out of bounds. The fourth down play where Schoolmaker is down at the one. You know, those no the touchdown is a judgment call to me, in my opinion. No, yes, Dak stepped out, but even with that, they had an opportunity at the end of that game to win it. And that's all you can ask for when you are going up a team like the Phillies. Just have an opportunity at the end of the game to win the game. Now, last drive, problematic. No, that was troublesome to see them be at the 6 yard line and go back and back and back and back. Eventually getting themselves to a place where they almost had no shot to score a touchdown. It was very interesting because before that play, you saw four up front, and then everybody else was kind of lined up at between the 1 yard line. Saying we will give you everything in the middle, but we are going to come up and we're going to make that tackle to keep you out of the end zone because they know they need the touchdown. And that's what the Eagles did. They really played that well. That last play, they played it well. But I think the Cowboys showed that they can they can make some noise. They can be a little scary when they're on their game. No, they can. They can be a little scary. Now you flip it over to the Eagles. Eagles are tough. Eagles are tough. Some are going to look out their wins and they're going to say, okay, they're just squeaking them out. But those wins matters. I mean, when you can win games in the trenches like that, you know, that is a boast of confidence. Now I've never been a professional player of any level, no, but for what I do as a living, what I did, when I was in the military, when we were successful at something, that gave you the confidence to go out there and do it again. And if it got close again, we know we can win this because we've done it. And I think that's what the Eagles are doing. They're winning these close games. So when it comes down to crunch time in the playoffs, they're automatically going to know that they can win those games because they've done it. Jalen Hurts, I'll admit, I did not think that he would grow to be a great NFL quarterback. And I was wrong. Jalen Hurts is the deal. Jalen Hurts is for real. You know, he makes throws that you really did not see him make in college, not even at Oklahoma. You know, he's making throws to Devontae and AJ Brown, who is a monster. To begin with, he is making throws that are just unbelievable. And it is amazing to watch. No, it is super amazing to watch. And the Eagles are fun to watch. The Eagles are a lot of fun to watch. They're high flying. They have a running game. They have the best offensive line. They probably have one of the best defensive line. So it's not many ways to beat them. The only way that you're going to be able to beat a team like that is if they have an off night. Which makes what Dallas did yesterday even more. Makes it a little bit more. I'll say now they can be a little bit more confident, about that future matchup, that second matchup that they're going to have with the Eagles this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that division ends with the Cowboys as well as the Eagles because that's if Dallas plays that way, that's going to be fun to watch. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And then of course we had our nightcap game with Buffalo and the Bengals, and of course, being a Dolphin guy, Buffalo is a team that I grew up to despise, and it makes it really hard today because I like Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is a phenomenal quarterback. Could be a little reckless at times, but he's great. I mean, he can do things that a lot of different quarterbacks can't do, and then on top of that, he seems to be a lot of fun as well. Now, I've been to a few Buffalo Bill games. Their fan base is just ridiculous. They supportive. They're probably one of the most supportive fan bases I've ever seen. Um, and that team is talented, and it's funny to watch them because you look at them and you can't help but feel like they're underachieving. They've already lost 4 games this year. They've had really close games to teams that are deemed not to be good teams, even though it is the NFL and wins are hard to come by in the NFL. But you've seen them struggle against teams that should not be on their level, per se. So I think Buffalo's in a scary place. I'm not quite to the point where I'm saying shut it down because they're just a game behind the Dolphins, who up to this point haven't shown that they can win any of those big games. But they're in a scary place right now because their defense is not playing well. Of course, Milano going down, who I think is one of the best linebackers in the NFL. That hurts. Tre'Davious White is not there. That hurts. Um, but they're not playing great on offense as well. And I can't understand why their running game always lacks. It's very interesting watching that offense because they never have a running game. Um, it would have been interesting to see Dalvin Cook go there and be with his younger brother because you wonder if that would have been helpful, for them. Because it's hard when you're asking Josh Allen to do everything that they're asking him to do. I can't imagine how tough that is because what it seems like defenses are doing is shutting down one aspect of Josh Allen's game and asking him to beat them another way. And with their defense not being able to get stops and turnovers the way they normally can, Josh Allen just can't do enough. No, to do that. And I know that's frustrating with guys like Stephon Diggs, because he is one of those players that's gotten really close, and he feels like he's on a team. I felt like he was on the team that was right there. And now it seems like they're getting further and further away because you have teams like Baltimore and you have teams like Cincinnati, who are coming up, who they were playing, you know, and that window may be closing. So Buffalo's in a scary place right now. And I know the trade deadline is over, but they're going to have to find ways to play better defense and get Josh Allen some help. No, they're gonna have to find better ways to do that. Play some better defense and get Josh Allen a little bit of help. Now, Cincinnati, they seem to be peaking at the right time, and Joe Burrow, man, that's a cool dude. No, you can't help but like Joe Burrow. I was not a huge Joe Burrow fan, simply because he was affiliated with Ohio State in college, being a Michigan guy. Anybody that came from Ohio State or CJ Stroud, we'll talk about him for a minute too. But anybody that was affiliated with Ohio State, they just did not have my affection. But when he went to LSU and what he was able to do at LSU, no, I think that year, what was it? Was it 60, 70 touchdowns? No, including the playoffs. Crazy, crazy numbers. No, Heisman Trophy winner, first round pick, gets hurt his first year, comes to second year, goes to a Super Bowl, then the AFC Championship, and now you see them coming around again. Joe Burrow, that dude is nice. And then he has the weapons. No, he has Jamar Chase. He has T. Higgins. He has Boyd. He has Mixon. He has guys around him, that help shoulder that load. Unlike, your Josh Allen. He has multiple weapons that he can use, and then he just cold. On top of that. So I said it before, watching Cincinnati, watching how they are playing right now, it's going to be fun to see how that division rounds out with Cincinnati and Baltimore, being at the top of it. And of course, you can never count Pittsburgh out. And then Cleveland. I mean, you look at the defense Cleveland has. No, they have some offensive struggles, but that defense is legit. So that defense is going to be fun to watch, as well. Great games in all. Great stories. Over the weekend, you see what happened with the Raiders and how Antonio Pierce just completely have just changed the culture, overnight, over there in LA. The Giants, you kind of feel bad for Daniel Jones, and I think that they said that it is a torn ACL and he may be out for the year. And you kind of feel bad for him, that he got his contract and now he's injured. He's going to have to go through rehabilitation and things of that nature. You feel bad for Saquon, who signs that 1 year deal, because now he's probably not going to have the help and he's going to be keyed in, by all 11 players on defense for the rest of the season. A good story with the Raiders, bad story with the Giants. You see that and you just kind of wonder, what's going to happen with both those teams. How are they going to end up? You see, you had the Patriots and the Redskins come down to the wire. The chop stop scoring. To see what happened with him in Minnesota and to see him come back against Atlanta was kind of fascinating. One of the greatest stories in football. This is why we love sports. We love sports because of the storylines. This is what I was always fascinated with sports, those storylines, that are created, that you can tell your kids about. Do you remember this? Let me tell you about this story when this happened. Let me tell you about this when this went down. Some of the best stories that I've had in my life, heard in my life, come from sports. something that happened, at some type of sports event or a game that I saw that just blew my mind. To talk about my love for Michigan, that was a game. I just happened to be in the room watching the Michigan Notre Dame game. And I'm sitting there wondering who is this team with these wing helmets. I only knew about the Hurricanes, and this team with these wing helmets are just playing this phenomenal game against Notre Dame, and they ended up winning. I walked out of that room being a Michigan fan. So, sports really tap into that emotional being, which is why we love them, and why we watch them. So, great games. This week we have a Monday night game coming up with the Jets and the Chargers. It's going to be interesting to see if the Jets can continue this magical run that they're on. They won some really tough games. They won some really tough games, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how, but they won them. Who to say it can't keep going? So might be a team that those AFC East teams need to watch out for. I mean, the Jets, they only have 3 losses, so we might want to watch out for them because I mean you never know. It's the NFL. Team gets hot, and you never know what can happen. So we will be looking out for that game this evening. Of course, the Heat play the Lakers tonight. Of course, we'll take a look at that as well. He has not started out the year very, very good, but I have faith in what they do, and we shall see how that goes. Well, but that is all I have for today. Like I said, this is the first time that we've done this, that I've done this. Super excited about it. Um, you will see others join in. You will see others that are near and dear to me. Brothers, friends, family. You know, just anyone that wants to be a part of it. To be honest, you will see that because, like I said, I don't have a brand. So it's not like I'm trying to protect anyone. But I am super excited about what's being started here. So until next time, you all take care. God bless, and hopefully we'll see you soon. No, God bless.